internet people. Yes, I have makeup on and I'm in pajamas. So it is right before I start work on Wednesday. And because I work from home, I sometimes, especially when it's like a specific season, will just wear my themed pajamas unless I have a meeting. And I don't have a meeting today. So I'm wearing these very cute puppy slash haunted house pajamas today because I'm cold and these are warmer pajamas. But I am going to get into what I'm going to be reading for the next week. So like Wednesday to Tuesday is about how these work out typically. So what I have is kind of a hodgepodge and I don't actually have one of the books yet. So the first book I will be reading, because it is a 14-day borrow from my library, is Camp Damascus by Chuck Tingle. This got recommended by Jordaline, and then Gabby Reeds just read it, which I did not plan that at all, but she had just read this, and all I know is there's a conversion camp in this, and it's like queer horror, which I'm very excited about. I'll really briefly read you the description, which is very tiny. Welcome to the God-fearing community with a heart of gold. Nestled high up in the mountains is Camp Damascus, the self-proclaimed most effective gay conversion camp in the country. Here, a life free from sin awaits, but the secret behind that success is anything but holy. And that's it. That is the end of the description. So I really want to read this. I need to finish it pretty quickly because it is a 14-day and I've already had it for a couple days. And once I finish that book and take it back to the library, which fingers crossed will be either Thursday or Friday, I'm going to be picking up the Handyman method. I requested it and it just so happens to already be in, which surprised the heck out of me because I did not expect it to come in so quickly. And I thought it would be a fun read. Again, did not plan this, but Gabby Reeds just read it in her latest vlog, and I think it's Jordaline's book club book, which is fun. But we've been doing so much home reno, and when I heard about the book when it was coming out, I was like, oh my gosh, this is perfect. Like, I have to read this. We've been renovating our whole house, and Krista watches so many renovation videos. It just seemed like the perfect choice. So that will be later in the vlog once I pick it up. And then, because these were on Kindle Unlimited and it's super close to Halloween, I'm gonna open this up really quick. This is just an iPad because it's what we have, so I read on it. I am going to be reading Camp Slaughter and Halloween Slaughter. So all I know is cannibals in both of them. Halloween Slaughter is the sequel to Camp Slaughter, so I'm not going to read the descriptions for either. Just know cannibals, and I believe it's set in Pennsylvania. So we'll be reading Camp Damascus, then probably the Handyman method, because I know that's also a 14-day rental because it's new. And then those two are just on Kindle, so I can read them pretty quickly. And I think my stomach just growled real loud. I heard it. I don't know if you heard it. But those are the reads for right now. I'm going to get into Camp Damascus today, probably during my lunch break or after work or whenever I have time. And then, fingers crossed, Krista works really near the library, so if I can't go, she can go pick up my book. I just have to like give her Camp Damascus to return and my library card, and they'll let her get the Handyman method, so I can do those and then those. So I'm very excited. This is kind of a very random vlog. I just like was excited to get Camp Damascus. So that's that. Next week I have a theme planned that's more actually themed. So I hope you enjoy this very, very horror-filled reading vlog. And I will start keeping you updated after this. So I will talk to you later, internet people. Bye! Hello! You can see a blurry cat back there. He's not supposed to be up there, but he refuses to come down. I am making dinner. I don't have the fan on yet, though I'll probably turn it on pretty soon just because there's going to be a lot of stuff coming in and out of the oven. I'm making meatballs, green beans, and garlic toast. It is the every plate meal. Krista really wanted green beans yesterday, and the box came today, and this was one of the green bean recipes, so that's what I'm making. I'm also watching a movie starring Jennifer Tilly that makes this very funny, but I paused it while I cook, and if you know what movie I'm talking about, let me know. But I am here because I finished all of Camp Damascus today before I started cooking dinner. Oh my gosh, like, I was so hooked. So, okay, the whole setup is that it's a very, like, religious like town, and then there's like an adjacent town that has Camp Damascus in it, which is the like pray away the gay camp, but they're not really doing that. So when we meet our main character, Rose, she like has all these facts in her head that she sort of like rattles off. She's really uncomfortable in like social situations. She has a guy friend and he like kisses her and she freaks out. But she has a friend who's a girl named Martina that she like keeps being like very interested in. Her parents are really religious. There's very specific prayers. They've kind of set her up with this guy. I think his name's Isaiah, already, and they're like expecting her to get with him. But right at dinner, while they're talking about this, she vomits out flies just like out of her body, and they act like it's totally normal. They're like, oh, you must have swallowed a bug when you were swimming today. And I'm like, a bug? And she's even like, a bug? Like, that was so many bugs. And then she like keeps seeing this woman in a red polo shirt and like I think khaki pants. It basically sounded like a State Farm agent outfit. But she like keeps seeing this woman and they keep telling her like she's not there, I don't know what we're talking about. She like goes to her therapist who she's been seeing, and he's like, no, it's your sin, like you're anxious and you're afraid of sinning. And camera, focus on my face. So all of this is going on, and she starts having these like thoughts of a girl who she cannot remember the name of, and she's like very interested in Camp Damascus, but she says like there are people in the commercial who when you ask them about it are like, no, I didn't go, I don't remember being there. And like some people remember being there but they don't remember anything else. And like as the story progresses, I don't know how much I can tell you, but like someone dies, and that like kickstarts this whole like thing happening with Rose where she's like, I need to know what happened to me, because she like has these weird memory flashes. This like creepy thing is following her, and it has like a name tag collar thing. It is horrifying. And so like as this is progressing, I'm gonna give you small spoilers, but I won't reveal anything big. We meet a character who knows Rose, or that Rose insists she knows from before. She's like, I know you, I can't remember who you are. And there's like parts of her memory she can't access. And then she winds up on this quest to like find people who went to Camp Damascus and like ask them what happened, what was going on. She also figures out what the red polo shirt things are. So wild. Okay, so there are some aspects of this that are so interesting to me, and I do want to talk about those without giving this away because I thought it was really, really good. And so I don't know how like knowledgeable folks are on like these sort of places that insist that being gay is not okay. So there's a book, The Miseducation of Cameron Post, which was written by the author of Plain Bad Heroines. That's a very good book. It has an adaptation too that you can check out. And then if I'm gonna use this, even though I'm trying not to really talk about American Horror Story, but it has it in there and it will help. If you've seen American Horror Story Asylum, some of this is covered. So what I think is interesting is there's this aspect for Rose. When she's having certain invasive thoughts, her body gets very, very cold. She's suddenly freezing. She cannot get warm. Now in this, it ties into something else, but in the aspects of like trying to pray away the gay or make you a straight person, which is not a thing, that you can't do that. One of the things is sort of like a cold therapy. Like they will put you in cold baths. They will try and like make you very physically uncomfortable. So feeling cold is something that could happen for people who are institutionalized. There is a scene even with like cold baths, I believe in HS. I think it's cold bath and not hot bath, but cold was also used. Another thing that I thought was interesting is they show Rose throwing up the flies and coughing them up a few times. And that could even tie in to a concept that was used. It's aversion therapy, where they would frequently like make you throw up, like give you Ipecac or something, and then like make you watch things that you would previously have thought were pleasurable, so that you would get sick and you would associate them with being no longer pleasurable. They go into this a bit by talking about Pavlov's dogs. So it is similar. Like you ring a bell, a dog comes to get food. So I thought that was interesting that these like concepts are there. There is a lot of discussion of religion, so that really is all there, and a lot of the religious discussion feels very like strict, stalwart style religion. So it was very believable to me. I could even like see this occurring. It's just how it's going about is so creepy, and the actual concept in real life is awful. They do horrific things to people because they are gay. And so it was not out the realm of my mind that if you were religious enough, you would see it as a, this is what we do. Like, any means, like, we'll do them. And it's just so wild. I was very intrigued. I really liked it. I do like stories with religion in them. I was raised Catholic, so I just think it's very interesting. I don't really practice anymore, but I actually don't practice at all. But it just is interesting to me because I like know some of the stuff they're talking about, like, versus I have an understanding of like ideology that could exist. So I really, really enjoyed it. I also was able to return it to the library already and pick up the Handyman method. So I'll actually be starting that either tonight or tomorrow, so I'm very excited. But I definitely say this one is my favorite read in a while so far, so I'm very excited. Like, I've liked all the books, but like this one was so good. So I'm hoping we can keep this up. But I want to let you know, you should definitely check out Camp Damascus. But it is, whew, there's some body horror. A lot of body horror. A little gross. But I have to go deal with dinner. So I'm gonna let you go, and I'll be back to talk about the Handyman method at some point. All right, bye for now, internet people. Good morning. It is right before work. So I wanted to fill you in on, I haven't read any of it yet, but I wanted to read the description of the Handyman method to you before I start work, because I'm gonna try and read some of it during lunch and then like after work and later tonight. So that's what I thought I would do. So give me 1 second, I'm gonna take a sip of my coffee. This cup is so cute. The puppies are in costumes, and then the cat is actually like a skeleton cat. Anyway, so I picked this up. It's like wild. It's from my actual library, so it's so shiny. But like, it's a paperback, but it has this like really thick plastic protective cover on it. So I mean, I can tell that they added it themselves because it's not perfect, but I have never borrowed a library book that had that on it before. So I'm going to read you the description of this book, but it's like so sturdy for a paperback. It's wild to me. Okay. When the Sabin family moves into a rural, unfinished development community, cracks begin to emerge in both their new residence and their lives. As a father wrestling with his unemployment and his uncertain place in the world, Trent Sabin's, I think it's Sabin, attempts at DIY home repairs lead him down an online rabbit hole where a paranormal radicalization surreptitiously takes hold as a mysterious instructor delivers dark, subliminal suggestions of how to handle any problem around the house. Meanwhile, stepping into the sole breadwinner role, his wife Rita tries to hold the family together as matters spiral out of control and go from bad to worse, even as their son Milo, a boy left to his own devices, exhibits the sinister side effects of far too much screen time, the trials of home improvement, destructive insecurities, and a horror beyond imagination collide in this terrifying story that will haunt readers long after the final page is turned. I am just intrigued. I mentioned this in the last clip, but when Krista does like a home improvement project, she'll watch like a ton of videos about like how to do the project so she can see people doing it and like know how to do it. And I just like, this felt so perfect because she was watching a ton on how to put in like flooring, how to like wrap your cabinets in like peeling, I forget what it's called. I just know it's wrapping your cabinets with like a thing and you use a heat gun or you poke holes or something. I read during a lot of them because I'm not going to be the person doing the thing. But this felt so perfect because we've been doing house stuff. We have more house stuff planned. So I'm just excited to read it. I will fill you in. I'm also wearing different comfy pajamas. I've worn these on the channel before, but they're so cozy and they're like kind of old. I think they're a couple years old, but they're super cozy and I love this little sweater. It's easy to wear. It's super cozy and toasty, but I'm gonna go because work is about to start, but I just wanted to give you the description and I will fill you in more in the book later, internet people. Bye for now. Okay, super quick lunch break check-in. So my lunch is just about to end and I read a tiny bit and I'm not super far, but what I didn't expect is, okay, this is told in 2 different perspectives, or at least it is so far. So we got a chapter from Trent, the dad, and a chapter from Milo, the son. Milo's chapter was exceptionally creepy. There was like something behind the woods, behind the house. I don't know. It was so creepy sounding that I couldn't picture it in my head. Like, I just couldn't do it. Like, they called it a cocoon, and then the way they were describing it, like, I had like this odd image in my head, and then there was stuff inside it. I don't know. It was odd. And like Milo had his dad's phone, and this like puppet that he watches on YouTube was suddenly like talking to him, but it was a different like the puppet wasn't acting like it does in the cartoons. And the dad, Trent, has started watching Handyman Hank, who his channel is called The Handyman Method, so the name of the channel is the title of the book. And like the video seemed to be like pausing and playing without Trent like pushing the button, or at least he didn't remember doing it. Like he found something weird in the wall in like a soda can that also kind of matched the description. Like it mentioned some kind of like cocoony thing. It's like cocoons are being mentioned a lot. And then this is a brand new house, I thought, so like I don't understand how there's stuff in it, which makes me think it's not brand new, like it's fake brand new. But like I don't know, the guy who is like in charge of the development they're moving into, it seems real creepy, like super creepy, like I don't know, just like he has a very weird vibe to him. But like Trent doesn't like anyone, so like I don't know if that's also just like because it's in a Trent chapter that the vibe is weird. Like I don't know, I don't like Trent, I don't like him at all. Like he's just like cruel sounding in some of it. Like I just don't like him. What is funny is they mentioned going to Home Depot, and he winds up in the contractors line. And like they do have that. I think ours is too small to have one. Like we've been to our Home Depot, we don't go very often. We go to Lowe's a lot, and ours has a section that's called like the VIP. And it's for like people who are contractors or do a lot of work. And we've actually checked out at that line before because we needed molding cut that we couldn't cut at home. And they just let us check out there because the guy who uses the saw was up at that counter, and he was like, oh yeah, I'll just check you out. It was just funny. But I've almost never seen anyone use the like specialty checkout at our Lowe's. One time. I've seen a guy use it one time. But I just thought that was funny. That was the funny element. I don't know. I don't like trying. I'm very worried about his son. And Rita does not seem to be paying attention to things. So, but like, they mentioned Trent has like a head injury that's healed. Like he has a dent in his skull from his previous job where he was like a corporate lawyer. And he's not there anymore, but he like technically doesn't have a job, but he's on leave because he stopped a man who brought a hammer to work after being fired and started hitting things, like hit Trent in the head. So like, I don't know if like Trent is acting differently than he has previously in his life because he has like a traumatic brain injury or something. Like I would think if you have a dent in your head from being hit with a hammer, something is wrong with you in some capacity. I would think that would have an effect. I don't know. Well, I don't like him, and I'm really worried about Milo, and I'm wondering if we're gonna get any point of view from the wife. I don't know. Both writers on this are men, so like I don't know if we'll get anything from her, but I just thought I would check in because so far I'm just kind of like, what is happening? But it did make me chuckle in the scenes at the hardware store a little. But I'm gonna let you go for now. I'll be back with more of the Handyman Method thoughts. It's an odd book. Odd book. All right, bye for now, internet people. Good morning. Okay, so I just lit my candle, which you can't really see. There you go, right there. So I lit a candle. I also have coffee, but not hot coffee. Hi, you were really close to my face. I have cold coffee in a very big cup. And the reason that I have cold coffee and not hot coffee is yesterday, I don't know if I told you this, we got a notification that we were on a boil water alert because I am not sure that this is why it happened, but this is everyone's theory. They've been doing road construction on almost every single road at some point in the city where I live. They've torn up complete sections of road. They have paved roads again and then not lined them. It's been a mess. Like roads have been closed. It's been chaos. And at some point during all of this, on Wednesday night, apparently the main water line for our entire city, like the one that takes everything from like the system, Krista read an article and then explained it to me. The main water line broke, like cracked, something happened to it. And so they had to shut off the main like feed valves. So they were like, we had to turn those off because we have to get to the line to fix it. But the issue is they haven't been able to fix it. So everything is just turned off. And while we're technically on a boil water alert, it's because whatever in your pipes that you have left is not suitable to drink. Like, you'd have to boil it. But the other issue is that we're actually out of water as a city. Like, the tanks are empty now. They cannot turn the water back on until they fix the issue. So we stocked up on water, thankfully. So we had the ability to get water for like drinking, and to take care of things if we need to. Cause like eventually we might not have water in our toilet, which is an issue. So like we have water. And then Krista's parents live a half-hour away. So they said that we could come shower at their place if we need to. We can basically just come by, and they're gonna cook us dinner, like have us over for dinner a couple nights, because I can't wash dishes. You're not allowed to use the water to wash dishes, and it's going to be tricky. Like, I could heat up water on the stove and like pour it on the dishes, but that's not ideal. Sorry, it's early, so I'm a little coffee. And so they had said, initially something said like, oh, we're hoping to have it up by Sunday, like water will be back. But this article that came out said they hadn't even fixed it or touched it as of yesterday, and so any ETA that they've given is not accurate because they have not done any work and they don't know what's wrong. So that's fun. So we're gonna see what happens. We at least have lots of drinking water for us and the pups and the cats, so that's at least taken care of. I'm gonna sit to fill you in on the handyman method, which is why you're probably really here, not to hear me talk about how we don't have water. So yes, let's see if I can push you onto my desk. Look at that. You look lovely. You're a little higher than normal. I'll back up. Okay, so you're actually on the handyman method, which was not intentional. So I finished it. It is wild time. Okay, so when I last talked about the book, I had said I didn't know if we were getting Rita's point of view. We do. Rita has a few chapters, not as many as Trent, and Milo stops getting his own chapters by September, I think. So it's divided into months, and I believe September is Milo's last like solo chapter. He gets like a mini moment, I think, but it's not a full chapter like he did before. So Milo is building these like very odd gadgets, which I think I already told you, and like he's digging up the yard and like finding these weird chrysalis-y looking dens, and that's creepy. And his little YouTube puppet friend, whose name is Little Boy Blue, is like telling him to do these things, and he says sometimes there's another voice that tells him to do things. So like that's happening with Milo. And Trent is consistently hearing, like, at some point he registers that he's hearing Hank in his head, Handyman Hank, and it's not just that he hears him on YouTube or on this like podcast that mysteriously appears that he can listen to of Hank. So we learn that like the voices are happening all the time, but they're the voices of those like it's a voice from YouTube or a voice in a podcast that he can hear, both men. Rita, we're not really getting much about her experiences in the house. There is a certain point in the story where Rita says something that made me literally gasp. And I was like, what the heck is going on? Like, I was just like, what is happening? What are you talking about? So the story does have a point where it kind of shifts, and you know more about why they're at the house, what's going on a little bit. And then as the story progresses, Trent does try to leave the house a few times, but it like calls him back. And so he keeps going back. He keeps working on projects. The house seems to be falling further and further apart. And so any fixes he does don't really stick. And I don't really want to get into too much more. I will say a male character that you meet previously, Trent does something awful to this person, and then the person like stalks him and shows up at the house. Something awful happens to that man. And it is creepy, like super creepy. So yeah, the book is very creepy. There's a lot of body horror, which is, I should have guessed. I've never read anything by Nick Cutter before. There's something really gross with a turtle, like super, super freaking gross, and then creepy, after. So the book is gross. Like there are very gross elements that occur. There's some like creepy bug things that kind of sound like pink larvae, which were very gross to imagine. I liked the book. I also did like most of the epilogue. I just think by the time you got to like the final 50 pages, it was a little odd because it kind of felt, I think it was 50. That's how much I read at the end. One of the dogs keeps barking at cars for no reason. I don't even know if you can hear him, but he's been barking all morning. But last like 50-ish pages, the story felt elongated. Like it didn't need to be as long. What is he barking at? Sorry. I don't know what he's barking at. I'm almost done. Please put up with my dog barking at nonsense. So the last 50 pages felt too long. Like stuff could have been condensed or pulled out. I know they were trying to give us like Trent and Rita at the end, which I did appreciate getting more from Rita at the end and knowing what Trent was doing. But I'm still also like, this could have been shortened. Like it didn't need to be that long. Overall, I did like the book. I thought it was creepy. I would not technically say the house is haunted. Sort of. You'll see when you read it. It's like, it's haunted, but not exactly. And like the best comparison I have is, and I've been trying not to talk about like movies, but this is the only one I can think of. If you've seen the remake of the Amityville horror movie that has Ryan Reynolds in it, Trent, the farther I got in, reminded me of Ryan Reynolds in that movie. So like, that's what he was giving me. Also, they do explain more why you hate Trent, or why I hated Trent, I think. So that helps. Like I was like, oh, I don't like you because of things. So it's not, it's kind of like when I read White Smoke and I really did not like the stepsister, and then we got to the end of the book and I was like, ah, there's a reason I didn't like you and it's not really your fault. So it's kind of like that. I did really like it. I kind of want to read The Troop now just because I've never read it, and see what I think. But that's not on the urgent list. That's on the like, we'll read before too long. So those are my thoughts on the Handyman method. I know this was a long update, mostly because I also wanted to fill you in on the fact that we just don't have water in a city with the word water in the name. Yes. But anyway, I am on to Camp Slaughter. And then if I like Camp Slaughter, I'm going to read Halloween Slaughter. And there's another thing I might read that I didn't mention in the intro. But it's like super short. So I'll fill you in if I read that. But I'm going to go because this is super long. So bye for now, internet people. I'll be back to talk about cannibals. Bye. Hello again from the floor of my office. My hair is up now because work is about to start. But before work started, I was able to read the Grady Hendrix short story Ankle Snatchers. It's part of like a series of short stories with like monsters or like creatures in it. It's like part of something, I forget what the full title is, but it like popped up and I thought it was like a full book initially, and then when I clicked on it, it totally was like, no, this is a short story. So I just decided to read it because I typically really like Grady Hendrix. I thought it was fine. So it sets up that like the main character, he says that he's like on a date and he tells the girl that his dad came into his room one night and said that the boogeyman had killed his mom. At least that's how he described it. He says like, my dad killed my mom. And then what we learn as the reader is that his dad actually said the ankle snatcher got her. And then he like drove off and they could never find the body. And so this character Marcus like gets with this girl. And it's a short story, so it's hard to like recap. So I will say like he takes the girl home and then learns the ankle snatchers are real. And then the story is like him, it's so short, but like he doesn't want to believe the ankle snatchers exist, but then he's like forced to. So like it was fine. The concept of the ankle snatchers was creepy, but we only saw them once. And not for very long, but they were described like super creepily. They have a lot of arms. And then there's a mention of like how other like boogeyman style characters are real. That like there's a psychologist who thinks maybe once upon a time they were made up by people, and now they've come to life. But that's like all we really got out of it. And I get it's a short story, and I normally really like short stories. But it just didn't feel like it did what I thought I was going to do. Like, I thought it would end with like a dramatic, gory scene or something, and it just didn't. Like, it just ended. Which, again, some short stories do that. It was fine. I would say if you like Grady Hendrix, check it out. Of the things I've read from him, it was just odd. I don't I don't know that he's written short stories, because his Paperbacks from Hell is like a collection of things about other books, and it just felt like not finished, even though it was a short story. So I don't know. Some authors, I just don't like their short work. Like, it doesn't translate for me very well. I'd say check it out if you want. Just not my favorite thing in the world. So now I'm gonna get into cannibals later in the day. So the next time I see you, I will be telling you about my thoughts on cannibals, because I'm going to start Camp Slaughter probably during my lunch break, maybe after I eat food, and then I'll read it tonight, see what I think. But I will talk to you later, internet people. Bye. Hello from a giant pile of blankets. I just made our bed. It's pretty late, with no water when we went to my in-laws, because they said Krista could use their shower because she is on call this weekend. And then they let us do a load of laundry because we literally don't have usable water until the earliest Thursday morning of next week. So like, we're not gonna do a ton of stuff. Like, we needed to do one load of laundry, and they said that was fine. And then I'll probably take a shower sometime soonish, since I have dyed hair, so you can't always see it, but there's purple in my hair. I don't wash it super often, just because I don't want the color to fade, and I got it done a while ago and it hasn't been, so I'm doing my best to keep it as purple as possible and not have to go back for a little bit. And then that's really it. They also made us dinner, so we had chili and cornbread because her mom was like, oh well, you can't cook, and a lot of places around here like are closed, or it's just like very odd because like we're under a boil water notice, so like you're not really supposed to use the water at all. So like I don't know how they're safely cleaning dishes. I don't know, I have no idea. But I finished Camp Slaughter, which I'm very excited about. So I really liked it. I thought the cannibal elements were really good in it. I love the scene where he thinks he may have given his boss the wrong jerky. I was like, oh god. But it is sufficiently creepy. Ignacio is an interesting villain to follow. He feels like a combination of like Jason and Leatherface, but like if you got more insight into like the inner workings of their mind, because we don't really get to be inside Jason's mind ever, unless you count Freddy versus Jason, which I've seen a few times. And then Leatherface, there might be a prequel I've never seen. Those movies just really aren't my jam. I once fell asleep during Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which sounds awful, but I was really tired and I just didn't want to watch it. So I said I was going to bed. And I fell asleep in a chair in the room with the TV on. But anyway, back to the book. I really liked it. I thought the kills were epic. The butchering scenes were gross. I felt awful for Nadine just the whole time. Like, I felt so bad. And then just all of those people. But like, there are survivors because it's horror movie style, and there is a sequel because that's what I'm reading next, Halloween Slaughter. I am so excited to see how that happens. Like, I'm so curious. I'm so intrigued, which I did not anticipate. Like, I was hoping I would like it, but like, I'm very invested. So yeah, I just don't want to reveal too much because like most of the characters don't come back. So I don't want to like reveal who's in the sequel. I will say it was really good. If you like slasher movies, this is definitely a series you should start reading. So I'm going to start Halloween Slaughter tomorrow. I might read that a little slower because honestly, I'm reading much faster this week than I thought. Cause it's only Friday. And I really only have Halloween Slaughter left. And I even read a book I didn't talk about, that I'm not really gonna like go into detail. I read My Dearest Darkest, and thought it was a fun time, but like, I just didn't plan to read it. My hold came in at my library, so I just did. But I've read a lot of books. I mean, I guess I could end the vlog early if need be, which is totally fine. Like, I could post it early, but I just did not expect to get through this much stuff so fast. So yeah, I'll get back to you when I'm on Halloween Slaughter, and I might fill you in throughout. Maybe I'll fill you in when I'm just done. Who knows? I'm reading at like a rapid speed this week. It is wild to me. But I'm having a very fun time. So I'll be back with more fabulous cannibal content. Bye for now, internet people. Hey internet people, it is cold. So it's finally dipped into the like chilly temperatures for October, which is nice, but I am wearing a hoodie. It's from the Salem Witch Museum. But I'm here for the final video clip. And my hair is staying in a bun because we still technically don't have potable water. They fixed the leak. They're slowly like getting it into the smaller water mains. It's like a whole thing because they're afraid they're gonna break something if they do it too quickly. So they're slowly setting up all the water. But the issue is that we're still under a boil notice until literally further notice. They're hoping to have it lifted by like Thursday. But it is Monday right now before I start work, and yeah, still have to boil water. The only benefit is we have plenty of like bottled water and jug water that we have plenty to drink. We have plenty for the pups. So that's totally fine. It's really tricky to do dishes because I had to do some yesterday, and it's like I had to use my electric kettle. I was boiling water to do the it was complicated. And then you're not allowed to shower. You're really not allowed to do anything with the water, except they were like, you could do laundry, but only like with really hot water. And I normally wash our clothes in cold, but we're fine. Chris's folks let us do a load already, so we're set on laundry. And we'll probably go by later this week, like I guess sometime not today, to take showers, since we don't know when we'll be able to take a shower. So my hair is staying up because it's kind of gross. I put dry shampoo in it, but it still looks kind of like meh. But anyway, you're here for book recaps, not recaps about my water situation, which hopefully by the time I post my next video, we'll have regular water back. But I finished Halloween Slaughter last night, and it was so good. I was so obsessed. Ignacio, his kills were even wilder. There is a kill at the end that was just like, whoa, gross. We have shifted though because his behavior is getting more intense. And this one was a little different because he was in like it was like a town, like a small town, but bigger than being at Camp Slaughter, so he couldn't just like wander through the woods. He had to like wait and keep an eye on things, and he was very fixated on getting someone named Judy, who had helped heal him up when he was injured, when he like first got to this town after Camp Slaughter. So there was a more like focused, looking for a specific person kind of thing. That sort of thing also happened a little bit in the first one, but we weren't following that consistently. Like he saw a girl at the cabins that he wanted, and so like tried to get her during the like other kills, but in this one that was like the focus. So we got a lot of Judy, her friend Daphne. I love Daphne. And then we did set this up for the sequel, which I'm so excited for, and it is not out until next year. Next year! Why does this happen to me? This is the other horror book that I'm super excited about that's part of a trilogy that doesn't come out till next year. But it was really good. The Halloween setup was perfect. There was this hilarious scene with a hockey mask that I literally laughed out loud at because I was like, oh my god, yes. But it was really good. If I was going to like rank the books I read, I'm still gonna say Camp Damascus is my top read for this one, but I am gonna combine and say Camp Slaughter and Halloween Slaughter together are in spot number 2, because I read them back to back, not like immediately back to back because I felt like garbage on Sunday, and I took a huge nap. So I kind of just like didn't really do a ton over the weekend because I just wasn't feeling great. But technically back to back. So I'm counting those as like a unit. Because the story continues. So those would be my number 2. I would put the Handyman method in my like 3rd spot. It was good, but parts of it dragged near the end, and I kind of wish he'd like condensed the ending a little. And then my last one is gonna be the Grady Hendrix short story. Maybe I don't get Grady Hendrix when he writes short form. It could be that. There are some authors that I like their long form, and when I try to read them in short form, I just can't get into it. Like, it's too short. I feel like it's not working the way it needs to because their pacing is normally slower. So I wasn't super into it. I am looking forward to a new book from him. Just like the short story didn't do it for me, which is in some parts my own fault, because I also initially thought it was a book, so I was super excited. Then I was like, oh, this is not a book. This is like 29 pages. So yeah, that's gonna wind up in last place. Nothing against Grady Hendrix. Love his other stuff. Just was not feeling that short story. But yes, so that's my ranking. Those are the books I read. I am doing a video after this that has a very different vibe. It has technically one horror book in it. That's sort of horror. I don't even know if it's officially horror. But I'm reading very different books before Halloween, just because I had books that I wanted to read. So I hope you like this horror vlog. If you've read any of the books, let me know in the comments if you liked them. If you read the Grady Hendrix one, let me know what you thought, or if you liked the other short stories, because there's like a set of them around a theme, and I'm just curious. I have another one of them in my Kindle library, but I don't remember which one it is right now. But anyway, yeah, that is everything. So let me know what you thought of the books, if you've read them, if not, if you're excited to read them, if they're on your TBR. But I am going to go because work is about to start. And then, yeah, I'll get to editing this video. So I'll see you later, internet people. Bye.